Alright, let's take a look at the Marvel Super Special of DRAGONSLAYER. This is Marvel Super Special magazine number 20. They had done magazines like this in the 70s and 80s. Each one was either a movie adaptation or some other thing, or a deluxe story from a Marvel character. This one is a movie adaptation of the 1981 movie DRAGONSLAYER, which is an underrated fantasy picture. Here, there's some wonderful painted art done for this comic, I think. And it says the official Marvel Comics adaptation of the spectacular Paramount Disney motion picture. This was the second movie that Paramount and Disney teamed up on. The first one was Popeye. And here is a scene from the movie, The Lake of Fire, with Galen here. All right, let's take a look at what's inside. And the thing about these Marvel Super Specials is, if there's a movie that you adore from the late 70s, early 80s, look up to see if there's a Marvel Super Special of it, because these are wonderful keepsake magazines for movies that you like. This one has a lot of great information in it, in addition to the wonderful comic book adaptation. So here, of course, Stan Lee presents everything. A Marvel Super Special magazine, and all of the credits for the actual comic magazine itself. Jim Shooter, Danny Fingeroth, etc., etc., with some, with a still from the movie. And Paramount Pictures Corporation, Walt Disney Productions presents a Burwood Robbins production, DRAGONSLAYER. Here's a glimpse of the dragon. Here's another scene from the movie with some nice red background and some art. And here is the movie adaptation. The script is by Denny O'Neil, and the pencils and colors are Mary Severin, who is a legend in the comics industry. She was the colorist for the legendary EC Comics. Yes, those EC Comics, Tales from the Crypt, etc. And she did pencil art on a lot of Marvel comics. I remember she did the pencils for A-Team issue 1. But here she does the pencils for all of this wonderful stuff for the DRAGONSLAYER comic adaptation. So here is a premonition of what's about to happen in the movie, and a lot of this follows the film fairly well. Here is the old wizard and Galen, the hero, and the old wizard is about to die by this man's hands through the dagger that Galen finds, and so that happens, and now Galen is the last sorcerer, and there is some mention that this sorcerer and the dragon that they're recruited to kill are the last of their kind in terms of the magic and sword and sorcery type of belief system. And so Galen says, okay, listen, my master is dead, but I will come and accompany you to slay this dragon of yours. So they go, and let's see here, this woman is about to be sacrificed to the dragon. So the thing about DRAGONSLAYER was it had a rich world building to it. Basically, there's a town that has a lottery twice a year where they put virgin women in this lottery, and they have to be sacrificed to the dragon, and that's what keeps the peace. But this troop wants to slay the dragon. So anyways, this dragon kills this one virgin. That's from the movie. Here, this woman has been disguised as a man all her life to escape the lottery, and Galen discovers that she's a woman. So there you go. Here, the one of the assistants of the sorcerer dies, and so Galen's all alone. But he has a necklace where the spirit of his master that died in the beginning of the movie lives. Here, Galen creates a giant landslide that buries the dragon's lair in rock. This scene right after the landslide isn't in the movie. So in the movie, there's a landslide, and then they cut directly to the celebration of the landslide. There's a scene in between those in this comic that may or may not have been shot for the movie, but was probably cut out of a shooting draft. So usually these comics are based on shooting drafts or earlier drafts. So it's based on something. So here in this scene between the landslide and the celebration, Galen and the troop go back to the village. There's no one there. Everyone is in the church. And the priest is baptizing people and everything. And Galen's like, I create a landslide to bury the monster alive. They go to the site of the landslide, and the priest is like, the Lord be praised. And Galen's like, your God had nothing to do with it. And then that's the scene. More of this tension between Christianity and the old pagan beliefs. That is something that runs throughout this comic adaptation and the movie. The movie is basically about how the grander theme is about how these old pagan belief systems get supplanted by Christianity taking root. So Galen is tossed in jail here, and he tells the princess of the lottery being rigged. She takes that to heart. And so when the dragon shakes loose, it creates earthquakes, and then Galen gets loose. And there's this guy Torian, who's the big nemesis and everything. I agreed with Torian. He's just trying to keep the peace. If they just sacrifice a virgin twice a year, nothing happens. No one dies and all that. But if you try to kill the dragon, you roil up all this turmoil, right? But the main lesson, which is right, is that sometimes you just have to face this stuff head on. And even though there's a lot of turmoil in trying to kill the dragon, you gotta do it. After that, there's peace. Here, the dragon kills the priest, just like in the movie. This scene isn't in the film, so when the dragon does destroy the village and everything in revenge, there's no backlash towards Galen. You figure there would be. And here it is here. This probably was in the older scripts, where she's like, listen, make it rain, put out fires, get the animals back. And it's like, I can't. Whatever power I might have had, it's gone. Sorry. And she's like, you're sorry. The damn thing is loose. We're all on fire and you're sorry. But then they agree to hide him. In the movie, they just hide him. Here's the lottery. And when they were celebrating, this girl came out as girl. And so now she can't escape the lottery. But the princess rigged it so that all of the chips in the lottery are her name. So she is now making amends for all the corruption of the past by volunteering to just go and sacrifice herself to the dragons. Here, Mary Severin depicts the baby dragons that are discovered here. Pretty cool. Like, they're puppets in the movie and they're okay. But here, they're pretty gruesome living creatures. They're pretty neat. So here, they're rigging the sacrificial post for the princess. Galen comes to try and rescue the princess, but she walks right into the dragon's lair. Galen kills Torian here, the big nemesis from the movie. The baby dragons all feast on the princess. And here comes the dragon. The dragon in the movie was great. It's perhaps I know that there's CGI dragons all over the place now. This was done with puppetry by ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, and it was fantastic. It's a living, breathing dragon. At one point, they had a 40-foot model with which to perform this scene, where Galen stabs the dragon with a special spear. It doesn't quite work. The dragon gets loose. Later on, Galen does awaken his dead master. The master's like, my spirit is in your necklace. Crush that necklace when I'm close to the dragon, and we'll both explode. And that's what happens, and the dragon dies. And here it is, rotting. The king comes and claims it as something that he slayed, even though these two did it. And then that's the movie. It's a wonderful movie, very underrated. One of the best fantasy pictures ever made, in my opinion. Great lived-in world. Interesting politics to it. And interesting sort of messaging in it as well. Now, these magazines are great because you get this wonderful art and this comic book adaptation, and you get the making of Dragonslayer. And here it's like talking about how the movie was produced, how it was conceived with art from the film, creation of the world of Dragonslayer, all the craftsmen and art behind it. Here is a scene from the movie. Here are the stars of the movie, Peter MacNicol and Caitlin Clarke in their own words. Sir Ralph Richardson. And here are the creators of the film and what they have to say about it. Scene from the movie. So, yeah, these Marvel Super Specials were great when it came to these movie adaptations. You got a nice little souvenir magazine with behind-the-scenes insights and the comic book adaptation. Wonderful pencils by Mary Severin. This is fantastic. And I recommend the movie as well. So if you like going through this with me, please give a like to this video. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Lots of great comic book stuff on here. So until next time, take care.